Life itself is wrong, but we can't side with that, so we breed. The problem with having been born is that I was brought here without my consent. That is a real problem. That is a real problem. And deep down, we know that. Some people would say, well, no one consented to being here, so what? Doesn't mean that it is not wrong. If I made you work for a company without your consent, I just took you from your home and gave you a job and say work, and you say, oh, no, I don't want to work here. Fuck that. And every employee at that company said, no, you gotta work. He said, no, I don't want to work here. I think there's something wrong with working here. I mean, I don't know. I don't like the working conditions. I don't feel happy here. And everyone said, no. You have a mental illness. You have a mental illness. How come you don't want to work here? You're evil. You know, you're evil. You can't say that being forced to work here is wrong. What the fuck is wrong with you? The CEO of this company loves everyone here. The CEO of this company wants everyone to be happy here. How can you be against people being brought here to work? You're evil. How can you be against our CEO? How do you think you'd feel? Would you feel like, oh yeah, there's something wrong with me for feeling the way that I feel? Like, the truth is obvious. The problem is that you've been indoctrinated. You must be able to see things from every perspective. That is very important. Don't just look at things from one perspective. Don't just look at things from one angle. It's easy to say that a person that feels like having children is wrong is evil. But do you really understand where they're coming from? Why they even say that it's evil? Can you imagine suffering your whole life? Your whole life. Not because you are doing anything wrong. I mean, not because you're doing something that is considered to be morally wrong. You're a good person. But you're suffering. You're suffering. People don't like you. You don't have money, meaning that you don't have access to most of the things that you want. You're just struggling to survive. You have to work shitty jobs to survive. And you feel like, man, this world sucks, man. We're competing with one another. We're not helping one another. Some people really need our help. We're not helping them. We don't really care about one another. People only care about you when there's something that they can get from you. If you have nothing to offer, they don't care about you. Imagine suffering because of all these things that I'm mentioning and feeling like, man, but why did my parents even have me? Because I know this world sucks. This world sucks for so many people. I think it is wrong really to bring children into this world, man, because we don't get consent from people before we bring them here. We can't get consent from them and they come here and suffer. Most of them suffer. It might be few people that feel like it is wrong to have children, but we do not torture people just for the sake of everyone, do we? As a society, we know that it's wrong. We don't torture the few for the sake of the majority, right? We don't do that. If 100 men raped one woman, they will all be arrested. It won't be like, they enjoy themselves. And there are many, it's just one woman that's been raped. So we must side with the numbers here. No. When something is being done to someone that is wrong, even if it has been done by many people, if they are wrong, they will be punished. That's because we understand that even if what we're doing is affecting few people and benefiting many people, if it is wrong, it is wrong. That's something that we understand. So if there are people in this world who are suffering like crazy, and they're suffering because they were born here, then it means that having children is wrong. Doesn't it mean that? Why are you willing to accept that it is wrong to kidnap someone and force them to work without their consent? Even if almost every person that work where you will want them to work is happy, it will still be wrong. If there was a cult where most of the cult members were happy, and almost everyone that's there was kidnapped and brainwashed, it doesn't mean that if they kidnapped someone new and that person is hated there, they don't want to be part of the cult, they don't want to be doing the stuff that people in that cult are doing, they feel like what these people are doing is wrong. It doesn't mean that that person is wrong. It doesn't mean that the person suffers from a mental illness. No, that person is right. You do not kidnap people and force them to do certain things. That is wrong. But that is precisely what we're doing when we bring people into this world. And it's even worse than the scenarios that I gave you. That's because with the scenarios that I gave you, it might happen that you just get kidnapped and be forced to be part of a cult for maybe some few days. But once you're born, you get to be here for the rest of your life. And even if it's just a couple of days, it's the rest of your life. And every fucked up thing that you can think of happens when people are alive, right? Happens to them when they're alive, when they are in this world. So yeah, people can get kidnapped and be forced to do things without their consent. That happens after they were brought here. It doesn't happen if they're not here. That is why in the beginning I said life itself is wrong. That's because all the wrong things happen in life. Hello? 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 All the wrong things happen in life. All the problems that people are complaining about happen in life. And they have to deal with these problems even though they did not ask to be here. They did not ask to deal with these problems. People have to work just to survive in a planet that they didn't even ask to be born into. And they do not really have a choice. They have to work. It's what's expected from them. They must work. They must contribute to society. And that's why I've said to you that this is a cult. It's because it's already been decided even before you were born that this world is good as it is. And you're just supposed to accept this world. If you do not accept this world, there are people who have already decided that people who do not accept this world are not right. You know, they're not right upstairs. Something's wrong with them. And they need treatment. You must accept this world. It doesn't matter what you're going through. You must accept this world. You must feel good about being here. It doesn't matter how your life is. You must feel good about being here. What you must understand about having children is that when we have children, we're actually experimenting. We don't know what we're going to have. We don't know what kind of baby we're going to have. We're experimenting. It is possible to have a baby that just won't fit in this world. It's possible to have a baby that's not going to like this world. But we are so delusional that we told ourselves that every person that is born must love this world. And if they do not love this world, they must be forced. We must abuse them in a lot of different ways until they love this world. You see, there's something that is true that we do not want to accept, and that's the problem. Like, people are not intellectually honest, and that's what happens when you are in a cult. There's no intellectual honesty. You do things that are stupid, but you try to justify doing these things. You think in a way that's very limited. Critical thinking is not allowed. You will be demonized for just thinking. And that's the problem. The problem is that people are being asked to do things that they might not necessarily want to do. And if they do not do these things, there's something wrong with them. That's the problem with bringing people into this world. And the thing is, once you bring a person into this world, they are part of the cult. They are not free. They are part of the cult. They are not free. It's like getting someone locked up. They won't be free, so they'll have to follow the rules. They won't be free. Even though they didn't ask to be locked up, but they will have to follow the rules. Hello. So kumela inde. So oh, let's all put it. Oh. So it's like giving someone a death sentence. The reason why I usually say that people are stupid is because they do not see things as they are. Sometimes you try to have a conversation with them to see if they really have an understanding of what it really means to, have children. Yes, they don't. They'll just say, oh wow, having a child gives my life meaning. What else can I do? I'll be bored. Who's gonna take care of me when I'm like older? Or who will I give my money to in the future? Or who will my money go to when I die? It's just like you see that they've not given it that much thought. Like they don't really understand what they're doing. They behave the same way that animals behave. There's no real understanding of what they're doing. You see, they're just trying to survive, and they know what they need to do to survive, and that's it. They've learned, okay, to survive I need to do this, I need to do that. But there's no understanding of whether what they feel like they must do to survive is right or wrong. Whether it's not causing harm, or whether it's logical or not. Like they don't look at that. To them it's just about survival. Like they don't really question their own existence. Not questioning your own existence is a sign of stupidity, because you are really in a world that you don't understand for real. No matter what you've been told, you still don't understand this world. So of course you must question everything. Even things that seem obvious. You must question things that seem 100% obvious. because people don't give a fuck about one another, so they can lie to one another. That's why I'm saying you must question things that seem obvious. People who are rich will always lie to people who are poor. You think they really care about people? Here's the thing, and this is the truth. What I'm about to tell you is the truth. But before I tell you what I want to tell you, I'll give you this example. So there's this guy that added me on Facebook. Very handsome guy, like straight handsome. He seemed to have money, always going out. He seemed to have a dope car. If he posts, I'm in town. Who wants to hang out with me? There will be more than like 30 women that will comment. Should I come that side? Blah blah blah. Pick me, something like that. Like they're all interested in him. I saw this other comment from this girl. She's not like bad, but not like she's not a slave queen. She's average looking. She also commented that he should pick her, and he said no. And someone else commented like, why would you say that? Don't ruin her confidence. And he said something like, well, she has to understand that she's not my type. She has to look at herself. She's not my type. The reason why I'm bringing this up, and I also saw a post today from someone also on Facebook, is that before you even like inbox me or even comment on my post, you must look at yourself. Like, do you deserve to be in a Benz? It's a guy, he has a Benz. Do you deserve to be in a Benz? Before you even feel like you can date me, like, do you deserve to be in a Benz? I don't want someone like you to come and fight in my Benz, something like that. But here's the thing. If life gives you all the advantages, you tend to look down on other people. You tend to not care about people that are below you. And that's human nature. There's nothing we can do to change it. You just don't give a fuck. Like, you kind of feel like they're animals. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're above them. Especially if your life is being good the whole time. Like, things have been easy for you. There are people who have had it easy in life. Things just worked out for them from the beginning. Things worked out for them from the beginning until the end. How do you think those kind of people feel about people who are suffering? Do you really think they care about people who are suffering, people who are below them? No, they don't. That is why people who are rich do not give a fuck about your poor, broke ass. They don't. They don't look at you and be like, oh, I can't believe that this person suffers like this. Ah, man. No. They don't. They really do not give a fuck. They just want to make more money. The same way that you don't give a fuck about animals. You don't. Before you kill a cow, you don't think, it would want to leave. It has friends, it has a life, It feels emotions. It feels fear. You don't think that. You don't give a fuck. It's so below you that you genuinely do not give a fuck about it. But you must understand that we live in a world like that, where the people that are privileged don't give a fuck about us, and they make decisions that are going to affect us in a negative way, because by doing that, they elevate themselves. They can't really elevate themselves as they're trying to elevate us. You see? But you don't see that. You're so blind that you don't see that. You're like an animal. You're like a child. It's like something blocked your thinking. So you hate people who think. You watch movies where villains are right, but you still side with the heroes. That's a sign that you still need to wake up. Like, you still can be easily manipulated, You must be able to see the truth, no matter how it's being presented. It can be presented as something very, very ugly. You must be able to see the truth. You mustn't just like the truth because it's presented as something that's beautiful, because you'll end up believing beautiful lies. Lies are well packaged. That's how you must realize. It's easy to make a person root for someone evil. You can make a person that's truly evil look good. It's easy. It's not like that is hard. That's because people do not think. And it's easy to make someone who's really good look really evil. It's very easy. Like, it's very easy to make me look evil. I'm not, I don't really think I'm a good person, but I'm not really harming people like that. There ain't that many people that are gonna complain about the wrong things that I've done. There ain't that many people that are angry at me. Maybe no one's angry at me. I won't really say I'm a good person, but I haven't done a lot of fucked up things that have affected people negatively. But it's easy to make someone like me look evil. It's very easy. You can make me look like the worst human to ever walk this planet. You can say that person has demons. That person hates life. That person hates themselves. That person hates God, that person hates God. That person is full of pride. They hate people. It's very easy to make me look evil. But it's not that easy to make someone who's trying to look good evil. Someone who's lying. Someone who's manipulating people. It's not that easy, because they're not really that honest. That's why in movies, it's villains that are truly honest. You watch movies like Batman, like the last Batman movie. You see that the Joker guy was he kind of had a point. He kind of had a point. Like, Bruce Wayne was very privileged. His parents left him all the riches. So, you're very privileged, man. It's very hard for you to see things from the perspective of a person who's not privileged. If you're very privileged, it's hard for you to understand why someone will steal. You just hate that person. That person is... You're going to be like a child. When I was a child, I had no compassion, bro. I didn't give a fuck. I've worked with so many people in my life, and I've worked under so many people, and I've realized that most of the people that were really privileged, that I worked under, didn't really give a fuck about people that were below them. They will mistreat them for real, and they will feel nothing, and they will treat people that are above them with so much respect. So fucking crazy. And I'll be like, so they don't see that the way that they're treating these people is wrong? Just because they're privileged, they have some money. It's not because they're better. Having money doesn't mean that you're better than people who don't have it. It has a lot to do with luck. It can happen that you get a job that pays you, well enough. That can happen. It can happen that you win the lottery. It can happen that you get involved in a car accident, they give you money. Some of y'all were born in rich families. Like, it doesn't mean that you're special, you're better than people who don't have money. It's just luck, man. It's just luck, you know. The system that we were born into is very corrupt. You know, it will give some people everything and some people nothing. It's how it works. But those that end up having nothing are not less human than you just because you have, you know, things that you want. There's nothing to do with that. You must be able to see things as they really are. So being forced to participate in this society is wrong on so many levels. You know, being forced to play this game is wrong on so many levels. Because people who might not necessarily want to play this game have good reasons to not even want to play this game. The reasons that you have for wanting them to play this game are kind of superstitious. God wants everyone to be in this world. God wants us to procreate. This world is evil, man. Any world that is ruled by ignorance is evil, you know. It's ignorance that rules in this world. It's not truth. You see, that is why you can abuse a person and people don't even realize that that person is being abused. See, they don't see the truth. They're delusional. So there are a lot of things that are happening in this world that are really wrong. We're causing suffering in so many ways, but because of lack of intellectual honesty, we're not able to see that. We're not able to acknowledge that. We're not able to accept that. You see the problem? That is why most people that are intelligent suffer. Because if you are intelligent enough, you'll also be able to see some truth that other people might not be able to see. And you go, whoa, so really, why would we do this if this is causing this? You can see that clearly, but other people don't. So they think, oh, you're just fucking crazy, right? Life is not easy, bro. We must understand that creating a new person that can suffer and bringing them into a world where they can suffer is wrong by default. It's not debatable. It is wrong by default. Even if you have good intentions, even if you want them to be happy, it is wrong. But you can't side with that. It is wrong, and that's the truth, but you can't side with that. You just say, it's just nature, it's how yeah, but is it not wrong? You must be so conscious that you are actually able to question nature. You see? You must be so conscious that you are actually able to question nature. Because if we were just going to do things just because they're natural, we'll go back to the dark ages, bro. Because there are a lot of things that are natural that are very harmful. Just because something is natural does not mean that it's not harmful. Nature doesn't care, bro. Everything that it has made to be possible is natural. You see, it's that what everything that's possible in this world, in this realm, is natural. It's supposed to happen. Nature is not judging. Nature is not like, oh yeah, you are wrong. Ah man, you just killed that person. Really, you're wrong. You'll be punished. Like, no, nature doesn't give a fuck. It doesn't give a fuck how evil you are. It's not gonna do anything. It's neutral. You see. But we are conscious, and we do have the ability to separate right from wrong. So it mustn't just be like, oh, nature, it's just that's natural. So it's you know what I mean, like, no, let's side with the truth. Let's figure out what is more true. That is how we reduce suffering. You can't reduce suffering if you are still delusional, because you're gonna cause suffering without even knowing that you're causing suffering. But if you are conscious enough to see that you are causing suffering when you're causing suffering, then that's good, because you're gonna make the right decisions, which is something that is really important, making the right decisions. I can't just bring a baby into a world where I know that they will have limited rights. There will be people who will say, oh, this baby is not gonna have these rights, but they're gonna have this right. Oh, and they'll be forced to be here no matter what. It's unless we decide that they shouldn't be here, like criminals that are given a death sentence. Really, it doesn't make sense. What am I seeing? Oh man, is this not risky? This seems a bit too risky. It is. It's usually not like this. Here's the thing. It's usually not like this. But I don't think it rained last, or maybe it did rain last night. No, I was asleep. I don't want to sleep and fall, because my camera might fall inside and it won't work anymore. This is the problem that I have. Let's see. Damn, that was risky, man. And the crocodiles here, man. Small crocodiles. That's the fact that I can get eaten by a crocodile is fucking crazy. I mean, shouldn't that make it obvious to you that this world is just not good? Just that fact alone, man, you must be that conscious. Like, why are things set up that way? You can get eaten by a crocodile. That's wrong, right? What kind of game is that? Remember, we feel pain. Humans are cursed with the ability to feel pain. So, yo, man, every time when I think the fact that I haven't brought anyone into this game, I really do feel better. Like, hey, Can't even imagine how I'd be feeling if I brought someone into this game. It's a very sick game, man. It's a very sick game that humans are forced to play. And on top of everything, they're supposed to be stupid. They're not supposed to be conscious. You know that if you raise a child while abusing them, they will not even know that they are being abused unless someone tells them. Like they will not be happy, you know. Even if you were like abusing them, let me not even talk about that because YouTube might delete this video. But if you abuse a person, if they saw everyone being abused the same way that you were abusing them, they probably think that that is normal. That's because human beings are not that intelligent. They just think it's normal. That is why the things that are happening in this world feel normal. We think that people working a 9-to-5 job, that's normal. Monday to Friday. That's normal. Like they're living meaningful lives. Some of them can't even afford much with the money that they're getting paid. But that's normal. That's not abuse. We think that indoctrinating children with religion is normal. It's not abuse. We think that if many people were indoctrinated and brainwashed when they were young, they'll believe what they believe. We feel like schools are not prisons. Kids waking up at 4 a.m. in the morning, having to go to school, going back home at 3, going back home at 4, going back home at 5. That's normal. That's right. And when they get home, they have homework. That's right. We don't see that something is wrong. People do not end up enjoying their lives. They end up feeding this system, feeding this beast, this self-serving system. Now we are slaves to this self-serving system. We're not born for us. We're not born to enjoy our lives. We're born to save the system. And if you do not save the system is going to torture you because it's powerful. It's going to torture you because you don't even have rights. It owns you. It'll be like, oh, you don't want to play by the rules like everyone else? You think it's special? Fine. I'm going to turn you into an outcast. Fine. You're not going to get a job. I don't care how good you are. You're not going to get a job. If you're not brainwashed, you're not getting a job. I want to see a paper that says you've been brainwashed. To me, it's not about whether you can do the job or not. It's about whether you've been brainwashed or not. If you haven't been brainwashed, fuck you. You're not getting the job. It means I can't really control you. You see? I can only control the people that I have brainwashed. I cannot control someone who plays by their own rules, someone really intelligent, someone intelligent enough to teach themselves things. People that are intelligent enough to not rely on me for everything. I'm not gonna help you. No, I'm only going to help those that I've indoctrinated, those that I've brainwashed. People don't see anything wrong with that. If you want to pursue the truth, if you want to be real, you're gonna have to be a villain. There's no other way. Because everything is against you. Everything is against truth. The truth is that people who know that creating new people without their consent is wrong have very good reasons to be making people aware of that. Yes, some of them became aware of that because they have suffered. Some of them became aware of that because things weren't really working out in their lives. Some of them became aware of that because they felt like they were not good enough, felt like they can't get anything done. If they're very pessimistic, but that doesn't mean that they are not right. Because you tell people the truth, they will accuse you of being depressed, accuse you of being a pessimist, of not looking at the brighter side. If something is inherently wrong, you can't really make it produce good results. If it's life that is wrong, then it's not going to produce good results. I do understand that there's pleasure, but you can't tell me that it is worth it to do something that is wrong just for one's pleasure. You can't tell me that, because if that's what you think, then you must also be willing to say that all the horrible things that have been done, because people do horrible things for pleasure. I want you to understand that. They don't just do horrible things because they feel like these horrible things should be done. It has to do with wanting to feel pleasure. So you're saying that they were right because all they wanted was to experience pleasure. And the only way for them to experience pleasure was to do something that's harmful. So that means that it's good because they got to experience pleasure. See, the truth is obvious. What I'm saying isn't that people should stop having children per se, because I know people won't stop having children. I know that it will be the ultimate solution, but I also know that people will not stop having children. What I'm really saying is that let's side with what is true. Let's know beyond any reasonable doubt that no one asked for this shit. All the people that are in prison, they didn't ask for this shit. That child that doesn't have shoes, that doesn't have an underwear, that's sleeping in a room that's where there's no bed, that's living in a village where there's no water. That child didn't ask for this shit. Who mustn't feel like they deserve to suffer just because they were born in a poor family. They didn't ask for this shit. That needs to be understood beyond any reasonable doubt. We must know that that child was born without their consent, so that we will know that no one really deserves to be suffering. You deserve what you want, what you ask for, not what you are forced to experience. So if we're going to be forcing people to come here and experience this life, then we must make sure that it's actually good enough. So that if someone tells us the truth, we'll be like, but look, people are enjoying their lives here. Yes, they were born without our consent, it's true, but I mean, we're helping one another as people. We love one another as people. That's important. And also, it is important that people become much more aware, you know. There are a few people who will watch my videos and actually realize that, hey, this guy makes a lot of sense. I haven't really looked at life this way, but I mean, it does make sense, you know. It does make sense. And I love the fact that I found this channel, because I would not have looked at life this way. And I'm not going to have children because it makes sense to not have children, looking at how things work in this world. I'm not going to trap my child into a world like this. That's beautiful, because you will have prevented suffering for real. You would have prevented suffering for real. You'd have been like, oh, my bloodline stops with me. I mean, if you have a child, that child is going to have children, and that children are going to have children. That, you know what I mean? So having one child is more harmful than you think, because that child is going to reproduce, and there's going to be more and more slaves because you decided to reproduce. There's going to be more suffering because you decided to reproduce. And you'll be reproducing slaves. That's the problem. You'll be reproducing people that will come here to serve. You don't believe me when I say that people who really run the show here, who know some things that we do not know, who understand some things that we do not understand, who can do things that we cannot do. And the only way for them to keep us under control is to keep us ignorant. We must not know that these people exist. We must just think that things are happening randomly. No one is at the top. No one is telling people to do certain things. Nah, it's just nature. This is just how things work. You know, this happen as a result of the cosmic events, and you know, But when you really think about it, that wouldn't make sense. You can't say this happened by accident. You can't say that. If you are honest with yourself, you can't say that. You know that this couldn't have possibly happened by accident. An accident accidentally created consciousness? Really? An accident accidentally created consciousness. You understand what we're talking about here? Consciousness. You can't even create consciousness, can you? You're conscious, but you can't even create consciousness. But an accident created consciousness. An accident created humans that get horny, that have sex and reproduce. Like, oh, it's evolution. Like, chill, man, chill. We would have died a long time ago if we were a result of the Big Bang. Like, if we were here by mistake, we would have died a long time ago. It's 100% not true. I laugh whenever a person tries to explain evolution to me, as if I don't understand it. Like, it just reminds me of people who believe in religion. Like, you don't see that you're just like people who believe in religion? Dude, I'm not saying evolution doesn't make sense. I'm saying you have to look beyond evolution, you know? You have to look beyond evolution. Of course, it's supposed to make sense so that you believe it. Some of you have invested years of your life studying evolution. You can't stand it when someone says it's not the ultimate truth. You can't stand it. Because you want it to be true so bad. And you already have friends who believe in evolution. Your survival depends on you believing in evolution. If you're a Christian, survival depends on you being a Christian. You can't just switch religions. You're going to be hated by many people. You're going to lose a lot of things that you have. So you have to continue to believe in Christianity because you want to survive. You know that survival is important to people. Humans want to survive. So even when people tell you things that actually make sense, it's not going to make that much sense to you. And when it does, you're going to become angry. You know? You're going to hate them. People become angry when they're debating with a person that knows this is their story. Because they lose. They want to debate with people that they know they can beat. They don't want to debate with a person that's going to challenge how they think, that's going to make them question their beliefs. Life itself is wrong, guys. And there isn't much that we can do. We just try to cope and make sure that we don't bring more people here because we have realized that truth. It's a simple truth, but we have been brainwashed. We've been brainwashed a lot to see it. Thank you all, guys.